This video is the first of what will be several that will demonstrate that this guy, Felipe Massa's so-called barrister, so-called legal expert, is one of two things. And that is either incompetent or a corrupt bastard. Okay? Now, one thing to consider. I'm going to play you through the Brazilian Grand Prix audio, okay, for that final lap, the closing stages, whereby the championship appeared to change hands on that last lap. You couldn't make it up, could you? The Formula One World Championship being decided on the last lap of the last Grand Prix of the season. You couldn't make it up, could you? Sorry, I was having flashbacks to Abu Dhabi 2021. Now, the phrase "does not exist within a vacuum" signifies that nothing is isolated, everything is influenced by external factors and contexts. Okay? It emphasizes the interconnectedness of events, ideas, and phenomena. All right, and it suggests that to fully understand something, one must consider the surrounding influences and contexts that shape it. Okay, so context. This man, Nick DeMarco, the one of the best barristers in the world, the leading barrister for sports. Okay, this is how the facade is projected. All right. Have you examined context, Nick? You've brought a case on behalf of Felipe Massa claiming £64 million in compensation and damages, okay, and requesting that he becomes known as the real 2008 world champion, even though you don't want Lewis Hamilton to be stripped of the actual title. You just want it to be undermined by having somebody else being declared it as well. Okay, Nick, we'll talk about the damage that does to Lewis Hamilton in future videos and the financial impact that it might have on Lewis Hamilton when you try and degrade his accomplishments and cast doubt onto them through your fraudulent fucking case, you cunt. However, in this video, what we're going to do is look at the situation that obviously our esteemed barrister will have taken into consideration when taking on this case to determine whether Massa had a case. Now, we revolve this initially around Crashgate, but Crashgate feeds in to the season-long competition because that is the championship, which contested over multiple rounds. During those multiple rounds, and we can have a look at this, these are the finishing positions at each of those Grand Prix. Okay, there were various things in each of those Grand Prix that impacted both drivers. I mean, penalties for Lewis Hamilton at Belgium, apparently. Other people have got greater expertise in that. I'm not going to go into that at the moment, but again, do your research. That impacted people. People's retirements, people's performances at different Grand Prix, stewarding decisions by the FIA at different Grand Prix, depending on who they were going to punish. However, let's be specific about Crashgate. Crashgate was a situation whereby what we were presented with and what the world was presented with was a crashed car that the FIA had to respond to. The FIA responded to that in the manner that they would normally respond to it. They deployed the safety car to deal with the safety incident. All teams were then subject to that condition. All drivers were subject to that uniform same condition in effect. Obviously, depending on how teams had set themselves up for that race in terms of fuel load, may have impacted them because some were running out of fuel, had to pit at a time where they were going to, but the pit lane was closed. This was a flaw in the FIA's rules that they subsequently changed. Okay, how they didn't think of that beforehand, who knows? That's not what's being discussed here. All right. But essentially, all these cars, all these teams are subject to the same conditions. There is a safety concern. The FIA have to respond to deal with that safety concern. The teams know how that response is going to be carried out. They know the protocols for the deployment of the safety car. They know the implications of it. Teams made choices whether or not to pit their driver. Ferrari pitted Massa. They made a mistake. Everybody else who pitted, they didn't suffer the same mistake. They went out on, they continued racing. Had Massa's Ferrari team not made the mistake, Massa would have continued on. Massa would have still been in that race, able to challenge for those positions. The crux of the matter with Crashgate is not the fact that a team cheated. Okay, the crux of the matter in terms of Massa's performance in that race is the error of his team. Now, if you want to sue your team for making a mistake, try that one, Massa. Sue your team for a human error, unless they criminally contrived it on purpose against you, Massa, and you can evidence that. Otherwise, you're suing your own team when they have just demonstrated human incompetence. So, could you establish that, Nick DeMarco? No, you couldn't. Now, you've brought your case on the grounds that Bernie Ecclestone in 2003, let's have a look at Bernie here. Bernie Ecclestone revealed in an interview that at the Brazilian Grand Prix of 2008, he was made aware that Piquet Jr. had crashed on purpose. Ecclestone and Max Mosley of the FIA. Now let's have a look at the picture of Max Mosley of the FIA, just so you're familiar with Max Mosley. This is Max Mosley. Prostitute in Max Mosley Nazi dungeon orgy was wife of MI5 officer. You couldn't make it up, could you? You couldn't make it up. The British Secret Service. You know, you could say the establishment. Okay, no, that's not the one, is it? The establishment generally refers to the dominant social group or elite that controls a polity, organisation or institution. It can also denote the ruling class or authority group in society, often dedicated to preserving the status quo. In a broader sense, it encompasses the people and institutions constituting the existing power structure in society. The establishment is often viewed as the important and powerful individuals who influence and control a country or organisation. This is what we're up against. Corrupt motherfuckers through and through, trying to cover up their corruption. And we've got the legal system, the establishment, that you've got to hold these corrupt fuckers to account within. Right? This is what we're up against. Anyway, what we need to do is expose these to demonstrate to the British public the true nature of the corrupt system that we exist in. It's a corrupt facade. And I'm going to demonstrate that this bloke is either incompetent or fucking corrupt. So, context. Crashgate. It happened. Renault cheated. Fernando Alonso was given that victory of the Singapore Grand Prix and should have rightfully been stripped of it. Singapore here, all right, this is it here. Fernando Alonso, first position, 10 points. He should have been stripped of that victory the moment they found out that he had cheated. His team had cheated, hence he is cheated, right? Renault have cheated. They should be disqualified from the championship as a team. Now, what do? Do you bar them from the Brazilian Grand Prix, or do you allow the individual competitor to carry on competing and just say that your team is actually barred from the Constructors' Championship, but will allow the drivers to continue to compete, having disqualified that result from Fernando Alonso, pending further investigation? Now, what's the implication of that? If you, when you find out that you have a cheat, somebody has cheated their way to victory and hence you have to strip them of that victory, you then reassign the finishing positions in that event. You reallocate the points in that event. Had you have done so, you would have elevated Lewis Hamilton from third position at Singapore to second position at Singapore, right? Second position at Singapore. 8 points as opposed to 6 points. Now, this is the point structure that season. For second position in a race, you got 8 points, which Fernando Alonso from the cheating Renault team got at Brazil. So there's an argument to say, well, Fernando Alonso shouldn't have been in that race. So you take Fernando Alonso out of that race. Oh, that elevates Lewis Hamilton yet another position there, doesn't it? Okay, there is an argument for that. But then there's an argument against it. But it ultimately doesn't really matter, because there's something that's far more important going on. Far more important, that actually impacted somebody's life. And it's not about the Nazi sex orgy. Not about these barrister key considerations yet. Not about the judges, barristers' costumes. It's about this one. About somebody receiving death threats and having their life impacted. Now, I'll come to that. Let's look at this situation, the championship situation. Going into that weekend, going into the final race of the season, bearing in mind that in that race, Felipe Massa won, received 10 points, and hence ended the season on 97, meaning he went into that race on 87 points. Bearing in mind that Lewis Hamilton came 5th in that race and achieved 4 points for doing so, winning the championship by just a point meant that he went into that race on 94 points. So going into that race, essentially Hamilton went in on 94 points, and that's just to double check. He finished there, he got 4 points, he ended on 98, meaning that he went in there on 94 points. He should have gone in there on 96 points. When Eccleston and Max Mosley found out that Alonso had cheated, they should have disqualified Alonso, reallocated the points, and made it clearly aware for everybody what the situation was for the championship going into that final Grand Prix of the season. 2 more points for Hamilton, meaning that Hamilton goes into that final race on 96 points. Massa was on 87 points. That is a difference of 9 points. Now, what have you got to do to get the 9-point difference? Well, that would have meant Massa had to win the race, because finishing second is only 8. He had to win the race. And Lewis Hamilton, just 1 point for Lewis Hamilton wouldn't have been enough, because they'd have been level on points at that stage, both on 97, and Massa would have won the championships on the basis of having more race wins than Hamilton. Hamilton would have had to finish 7th in that race to be guaranteed the World Championship. Hamilton finished 5th. The suspicion was about Glock's role in the situation. The suspicion was, did Glock slow down on purpose to enable Hamilton to do that? As a result of that, as a result of the crazies, okay, that's for another one, the crazies that exist in society, the fanatics, the super fanboys, you know, the cunt childs that actually go to channels that they don't like to seek to undermine something because they love Max Verstappen that much. They're fanboys. They just have to troll and troll and troll, and they're the first one there in the comment section, and they make comments to every comment section. You know, the fanatic type, yeah? Yeah, we know that they exist. We know that they've been around for years. Yeah, we know of these damaged individuals in society. And what did billionaire Bernie do to protect the people in the show from that kind of dynamic? When Bernie found out that Renault had cheated, when Bernie found out that Alonso's victory was a scam, Bernie tried to cover it up, because fraudulent Bernie here wanted to protect the financial asset. He wanted to protect his financial interests and the financial interest of the investment company that he'd sold it to. Yes, that's what Bernie wanted to do. Bernie fraudulently covered up what had taken place. Max Mosley, okay? This guy, this is what he got up to in his spare time. Yeah, along with the wife of an MI5 officer. Yeah, this is the caliber of individuals we're dealing with here. Oh, the elite, elite establishment, those in positions of power that cover things up. Just like we must have that in the serious fraud office, who refuse to investigate fraud. And it all gets covered up in the faux legal facade of these people with integrity, because in order to determine the difference between right and wrong, we all have to dress up in the costume to give the illusion of integrity, knowledge, and us all being learned scholars and having much more knowledge of the law than everybody. Yes, Your Honour. Yes, Your Honour. Yes, Mr. Justice. We can all wear a fucking costume. Every one of us that goes and does a job, we wear a costume to go and do it. Okay, that's your costume that you wear. It doesn't mean you know any more than I do. And in every profession, as we all know, there are people that are extremely competent at what they do, and there are people who are shit. Okay? But some professions like to project a facade. Okay? Just like the Emperor's New Clothes, that only the most intelligent of you will be able to see how magnificent they are. Yes, and it only takes a child to point out that he's not wearing any. But they'll try and silence that child, won't they? Because that embarrasses them. That shatters the illusion that they want to project. But they makes them money and gives them status. Yes, and as I said in another video, just go watch an episode of Judge John Deed. And it is the sort of thing that goes on. You get the so-called rival barristers representing the different parties go to the judge's chambers, and they sit round all having a discussion about how they're going to carve up the spoils of the case that they're dealing with. Yes, it's just a facade. Okay, it's a costume drama. It's a costume drama of this faux integrity for everybody to go, oh, this is the legal battle about what's going on here, and it's all legal, everybody. It's bullshit. It's not grounded in justice. It's a costume drama facilitated by a so-called judge, okay, a jumped up barrister who used to do the same fucking job. They know the fucking game. So what they do, they enable the game for the illusion, to enable the extraction of money and the manipulation of the outcome for how they want to manipulate it, depending on who they're manipulating it for and who has the greater financial interests in this and who's friends with who from the establishment and who we're protecting here in this set of circumstances. That's what they fucking do. That's what the system is all about. It's a facade. Corrupt as fuck. Anyway. But obviously this is our esteemed KC, the King's Counsel, who wasn't able to establish that Bernie Ecclestone and Max Mosley covered up the race fixing of Singapore to protect the money interest rather than the sporting integrity, which is the requirement of the governing body of the sport. Billionaire Bernie influenced what Max Mosley of the FIA did in covering it up, or seeking to cover it up. What did that do? Well, we go into that race as an exciting title decider. It's all on the line. Everybody tune in to the last Grand Prix of the season. Oh, that's going to make Bernie more money, isn't it? Now, what's it going to take for Felipe Massa to become world champion in his home race? Well, he's going to need to win it, and Lewis Hamilton is going to have to finish in 8th or lower. Well, Lewis Hamilton on that last lap, well, he was 6th. He's doing the job. Oh, he's managed to overtake Tino Glock. Oh, that's nice for him, but he was already world champion. No problem. We didn't get that. We didn't get that, did we? we got the last lap drama. Oh, it's Glock slowing down now. Oh, and then what did that do? No, yes, you can cast doubt on the whole situation. We'll go through the commentary. You can listen to it for yourself and decide for yourself just how authentic this bullshit show of Formula One is. Okay, but we're talking about this court case here. Timo Glock received death threats after the 2008 Brazilian Grand Prix following the dramatic moment where he was overtaken by Lewis Hamilton. Glock faced significant abuse and threats from fans, even to the point of being scared to leave his home. He described the situation as shocking, stating that even his family was affected by the threats, which included letters demanding his ban from racing and even calls for his death. The situation calmed down after the release of onboard footage from the race, which showed Glock was not at fault for the incident. That is what this corrupt bastard and this corrupt bastard subjected Glock to by concealing what they concealed. Who was the person harmed here? Who was the person who suffered harm in this situation? Nick DeMarco. Is it Massa that suffered harm? Is it Massa that suffered harm? Did Massa lose a championship? No, he didn't. He never won the championship. Did Crashgate affect his title? No, it didn't. What affected his title was Ferrari making the mistake. Could you not understand that, Nick DeMarco? I'll get to the recording. I need to show you this first because key considerations. When engaging in litigation seeking compensation and damages, barristers must consider the following key considerations. Come on, Nick. Surely, as the expert barrister, you should know this, okay? Authorization. Barristers must ensure they are authorized to conduct litigation. Oh, you must have a certificate. Yes, you must have been on the course, everybody. You must have been proficient. Just like all these judges with all the judge qualifications that they have. They've got a degree in judgery, have they? Oh, no, that doesn't exist. You just need to be one of the club and elevated to be able to conduct the game and be classed as a legal scholar. Be willing to manipulate. Yeah, I know enough of them fucks. Anyway, barristers must ensure they are authorised to conduct litigation and that they have the necessary qualifications and training. What are the necessary qualifications and training? Okay, yes, you need to be competent to be able to conduct yourself, to play the game of whiff-waff, to ensure that the facade of integrity is upheld. Okay, yes, maintain the facade. You need to be qualified in order to do so. You must have a costume that fits, and you must be able to conduct yourself in a manner that people can't see through. Yes, it's all part of the club. You must sign an allegiance to the bar, where your commitment is to the system, the facade that you're not allowed to expose as being a facade. We don't want to shatter public confidence in the facade, and therefore you must be necessarily qualified and trained to not do that. You mustn't have a conflict of interest. Barristers must identify and assess potential conflicts of interest with clients and take appropriate measures to avoid them. We'll come to that if there is any. Okay, not considered that yet, but I'll have a think about that, Nick, because I'm sure you'd have considered that, okay? Because you didn't consider some of the things that I am going to identify in this video and the next and the next. Public access. Barristers must comply with the public access rules and ensure they are familiar with the guidance published by the bar, the club, the bar, everybody called to the bar to be part of the club. Standards Board. Yes, the bar. Is that anything like the Judicial Conduct Investigations Office, who, well, we can't investigate the judge's decisions. Yeah, that's conduct. Yeah, if a judge makes a corrupt decision, that's conduct. Oh no, the rules are we can't investigate the judges for their decisions. Rightio. Okay. Client welfare. client welfare here for the barrister. Barristers must consider the interests of the client, okay, and the interests of justice. Justice. The difference between right and wrong in the context of a given situation. Ensuring their actions are in the best interests of the client. So what you do in the best interests of the client, Nick, is you determine the context of the situation and you advise your client accordingly. You say, Nick, Felipe, you don't really have a case here. Having researched the situation, having drilled down to the fundamental implications, the fundamental facts of the situation, you don't have a case. It wasn't Crashgate that impacted your ability to win that championship. It was your team and your subsequent performance in that race. But actually there are other problems in that. Other people were impacted by the concealment of Crashgate by Eccleston and Max Mosley. Who were them other people? Well, one guy received death threats as a result of it. Two guys got lower finishing positions in the championship because of it. 6 teams lost out on Constructor Championship prize money through that. And each of the employees of those teams, estimated to be 6,000 people, all suffered financial loss due to the lower bonuses that they would have likely received as a result of the lower prize money that each of those teams received. They're the harmed parties, Felipe, not you. So your best interest, Felipe, is not to embarrass yourself by taking this case. But I understand that you have a bit of a problem with the FIA. I understand you've been gassed up by Bernie because hateful bastard, racist bastard Bernie wants to deduct championships from Hamilton. Yes, but it's not your case, Massa. It's not your case. Client welfare. Did you take into account client welfare there, Nick DeMarco? Professional conduct. Nick, you've got to be seen to conduct yourself professionally, Nick. Okay, with the wig and the that might just be criminal law. But this case does involve criminal law, doesn't it, Nick? Doesn't it, Nick? Yes, the esteemed barrister, Nick. Let's go back to the checklist. Okay, let's see what it says on the internet. Barristers must act with integrity, or at least wear the costume that makes people believe that you're acting with integrity, independence, and professionalism. Now, for me, professionalism is having a full understanding of the situation that you are trying to argue for, okay, rather than just corruptly make an argument for personal financial gain, Nick. Rather than corruptly take on an argument for personal financial gain. Now, Nick, let's have a look. Nick is a leading sports barrister with particular expertise in commercial, employment, regulatory, and media law. Oh, this is great, isn't it? He regularly acts for national and international sports governing bodies. Oh, he acts for international sports governing bodies. We've not got a conflict of interest here, have we, Nick? Have you ever acted for the FIA in the past? Let me know what you think in the comments section, Nick. Is this just a facade, Nick? I don't know. You can tell me. Players, athletes, clubs, sponsors, broadcasters, and agents. So, who are we acting for here, Nick? Which sponsors have you acted for? Which broadcasters have you acted for? Which show is going to be undermined and impacted by this? And which could be protected by this? Is there a conflict of interest by you taking on this case, Nick? Are you seeking to present this case a certain way, Nick, to distract people from somebody else's interests that you might have represented? Is there a conflict of interest through what it is you're seeking to do, Nick? The go-to barrister for disputes in football, Nick acts, yes, he does act in commercial and regulatory matters, Commercial, yeah, that's the money side of things. For clients across all areas of sport, including boxing, golf, gymnastics, motorsport, and tennis. Yeah, yeah, the on the court gymnastics of the legal game. Yeah, the mind gymnastics of what's legal. Ignoring context, saying some magic words from an archaic language that nobody uses. Latin, the language of law, but we have to explain that to you because you won't understand. Don't worry your little head. Yeah, this is legal, everybody. This is legal. This is Nick, our barrister here. This is Nick, the expert. Might have a conflict of interest there. We'd have to see at the previous cases that he's done, whose interest he's actually really protecting by bringing on this case, protecting. Well, who is he protecting? Is he protecting Sky Sports F1 to make excuses for their presentation of the Abu Dhabi 2021 fraud? Is he doing that? Because he's got an interest in media here, and media are part of the fraud. And is he trying to present this as just being, oh, this is just a Formula One problem? No, 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 it's bigger than that, Nick. It's bigger than that. It's a lot bigger than that, Nick. Did you identify the harmed parties in this? Are you seeking compensation for the harmed parties? Why are you seeking compensation for the guy who wasn't harmed, Nick? Why have you brought a public case in front of? Why are you wasting court time, Nick, with this in this particular instance with Massa? Why are you bringing this a public case when there is no case? What's the plan, Nick? What's the facade, Nick? Somebody received a death threat here, Nick. Does that not bother you, Nick? What's your legal expertise on that? Is this civil litigation or is this criminal law that we need to deal with, Nick? Let me know your legal expertise, Nick. Some of us that are concerned with law and justice, not interested with legal, that wank rag of a little argument, the facade, the little, dress up in your costume drama with your wigs. And, oh, yes, all of us here have got integrity and we're pretending that this is all complex to carve up the spoils of this for ourselves. Yes, legal. Yeah, I'm not interested in that, Nick. No, I'm interested in justice. I'm interested in the application of law. Okay, not a corrupt application of law, because law and justice does not exist in a vacuum. We need to consider all aspects of what's going on, the implications, and what corrupt bastards do, okay, and what harm they perpetrate in doing what they do, and holding them to account for that. Nick, who suffered? Timo Glock. Death threats. That could have been avoided. That could have been avoided if, prior to this race, they'd have established what the situation was ahead of the race. We have found out that Renault cheated in Singapore. We have disqualified Renault from that event. We've reallocated the points. So now the standings going into Brazil 2008 are Lewis Hamilton leads the championship with 96 points. Felipe Massa second on 87 points. Meaning that in order for Felipe Massa to become champion, he has to win this race and hope that Lewis Hamilton finishes 8th or lower. That race unfolds. We see Lewis Hamilton in 6th, jumping to 5th on that last lap. But it's no drama, everybody. It's no drama. Oh, but we need the drama for the media interest, don't we, Nick? Okay, we need the drama. That excites the kiddies, doesn't it, Nick? That makes the money. That's the money shot, isn't it? That's the money shot for the kiddies, Nick. The money shot for the kiddies is the drama, isn't it, Nick? Yes, the money shot for the kiddies. The establishment need the money shot for the kiddies, don't they? The money shot for the kiddies. The establishment, they all like that. They all like that. Anyway, did you consider that, Nick? Did you consider that? That's what they should have done, Nick. The moment they found out about the cheating, they disqualified the cheats. They demonstrate to the world, well, this is the implications. This is the state of the World Championship now. This is what needs to happen. It's less exciting. And well done to Felipe Massa. You won the race. Well done, Felipe. And Lewis Hamilton, you needed to come at least 7th in that race. And luckily for you, you were running in 6th. On the last lap, you jumped up to... sorry, I've got the wrong thing. You were running in 6th on the last lap. You passed Glock and got up to 5th. But it didn't really matter. You know, and therefore we can't accuse Glock of just handing you that position and, you know, making Glock susceptible to death threats from the fanatics, right? Because that's not a factor now. Because it doesn't matter. It's irrespective. Hamilton would have won that championship even if he hadn't have passed Glock. Nobody would have received death threats there, Nick. So what's the implications of what really went on there, Nick? What's the real problem here, Nick? What did Felipe Massa lose out on? What could Felipe Massa have gained from this situation? Because he couldn't have gained a world championship. That doesn't affect his future financial earnings, does it then? He's not lost anything. He's not a world champion, never was a world champion, not lost any sponsorship deals as a result of that. No impact on him. Maybe he's had his feelings hurt. Maybe again, maybe the euphoria with still half a lap remaining, okay, the euphoria of winning that race and thinking, or his family feeling, that he might be winning the championship because of this situation of Hamilton being in 6th and that being enough, being due to how these liars portrayed it beforehand because they didn't take the right action. Maybe that gave him false hope. But let this be a lesson to you, kiddies. Let this be a lesson to you. Don't peak too early, okay? Don't climax prematurely, okay? Because it can all end in tears, all right? It can all end in tears if you do so. And you don't want that. You don't want that. So what we should do, okay, is go and listen to those last closing stages and listen to the drama and the excitement unfold. The authentic sport of Formula One. I can't show you the footage. It will get blocked on copyright. So let's have a listen, Nick. Let's have a listen, Nick.
Does he? Lewis Hamilton is the world champion.
Unbelievable. I mean, to be fair, the kid did absolutely everything right, and they couldn't take a gamble on that rain, as nor did Massa.
Unbelievable. You couldn't make it up, could you? No, we need to go back a bit. We need to go back. I thought I'd got it queued up, you know. I thought I was professional enough to have it queued up, but obviously not. Where are we? 4 laps to go. No. Where are we now? 2 laps to go. We'll take it back to here. See, we've got Felipe Massa's dad there. Okay. This is what you do to people. This is the false hope you give to people. This is the emotional roller coaster you put people through deceiving them. Oh, that's billionaire Bernie. Yeah, that's manipulation of people, isn't it? Through being fraudulent. But we'll have a listen anyway.
He's got a bunch of traffic ahead of him. There is some of it. The Force India get out of the way because they're coming through. And Hamilton's gone wide.
Oh my goodness me, Vettel is now right with him. 2 to go. Hamilton has forced his way through. Here comes Kubica, and he passes. He passes Vettel. That's delayed Vettel a little bit. And Kubica is, it's a bit naughty.
Kubica's unlapped himself.
He's a lap down. He's unlapping himself. He would argue he's entitled to do that. Hamilton,
It's a bit naughty. What do you mean it's a bit naughty? You're in a race, somebody's passed you, okay? They might have lapped you. That means what? You're not allowed to unlap. If your car's now capable of going faster because you've got better tyres on for better grip for the conditions, and you're then able to go faster. Well, of course you're allowed to unlap yourself. What you're describing it as being a bit naughty for. Oh, have we got expert commentators who actually understand sport? Is this a problem that media has just got mind conditioners showing us the show with the only requirement being, oh, you need to speak faster than the Formula One cars go and louder than them to excite the kiddies, to make them think that they're watching a highly complex technical sport. Don't worry your little heads, okay, because you can't talk about Formula One in a calm manner, explaining to people what's going on like that. It just doesn't fit the sport, does it, everybody? No, that wouldn't be Formula One unless you're talking about it like this at 120 miles an hour and at the top of your voice. Oh, it's Formula One. Oh, yes, media. And the construct. We'll carry on.
Him through. So he's got grip, but Hamilton's lost it. Oh my goodness me! Vettel's taken the place, and that could cost Hamilton the World Championship.
Oh, it's
now raining hard, and that means Glock.
It's exciting, isn't it? It's really exciting. Oh, it's exciting. Play on.
He's going to be in trouble. He's in 4th place, and with just 2 laps to go, the question now is, can Timo Glock in the Toyota keep it on the island? If he cannot, then Hamilton might have a chance of getting the title back. At the moment,
2 laps to go. We're proposing the issue now is with Timo Glock. I mean, I don't know the tyre situation. I don't know whether he'd spun out earlier, indicating he was losing grip. Who knows? Who knows? But the commentators, they've worked it out.
6th will not do it for him.
Can you believe it right now?
I don't believe it, Martin. Yeah, you can't believe it. 6th will not do it for him. But, had you disqualified Fernando Alonso, 6th would have done it for him. And the commentators would have been saying 6th would have done it for you, Lewis Hamilton. 6th will get you the 2 points that you need, because actually 6th gets you 3 points. You need 2 points. You've got a lead of 9 points in the championship going into this race. The most that anyone can achieve is 10, right? So all you need to do is get 2 points. That will give you a lead of 11. So even if they get 10, you still win the championship by a point. So all you need is 7th position. 6th will do it for you, Lewis. Had billionaire Bernie not covered it up, had Nazi sex orgy with the MI5's agent's wife, or head of MI5's wife, was it not, from the establishment, had Max not covered it up, under the instruction of Bernie to satisfy the interests of the financial controlling influence. Governments aren't influenced by the interests of the financial controlling interests, are they? The establishment. Not things don't exist in a vacuum. It was establishment that we need to consider here. That wouldn't have been the issue, would it? That wouldn't have been the issue. Let's just listen to that again.
Might have a chance of getting the title back. At the moment, 6th will not do it for him.
Yeah, it would. 6th would have done it for him. Not a problem. No drama here. No death threat. But that doesn't make the money, does it? That doesn't make billionaire Bernie the extra billions of dollars, billions of pounds. No, Bernie's got to be fraudulent. Do you understand this, Nick? Do you understand, Nick, that this constitutes criminality, and it's far bigger than your $64 million or £64 million claim? That what's your margin, Nick? What you cut out of that, Nick? How much are you on course for? 10%, 20%, 30%? Who knows, Nick? Let me know what you think in the comments section. Your fees are for representing Massa in this case. How many million do you get out of this, Nick? Out of this fraudulent case that you bring in? Yes, and obviously with you being the best barrister, the go-to barrister, you can't afford to lose this one and be shown up for being a cunt, can you, Nick? No, so the judge will have to take that into consideration so that the illusion, the facade, is not broken to everybody.
Can you believe it? Right now, it's all down to whether Glock can handle the rain. And let's look at Glock's sector times. They're fine. Sector 1 is fine. Hamilton is not going to get the championship right now. If it doesn't rain harder, it's all about Glock now. Or can he get back at Vettel?
Oh, it's fine. Hamilton's not going to win. Oh, the drama, everybody. We cut to the actress as well at some point. Can't show you.
And he's held up there behind the Honda.
Well, he's got nothing to lose now, Hamilton, in many ways. I mean, he'll be monitoring the Glock situation. He just doesn't...
They had nothing to lose. The catchphrase of Formula One. They've got nothing to lose. Red Bull had nothing to lose. You couldn't make it up, could you?
Seem to have any grip, even though he's got the right tyres on. Vettel is driving away from him. And we're entering the last lap shortly. Race leader for...
The tyres! The tyres! He got nothing to lose. The clean air, the dirty air. The undercut, the overcut.
Felipe Massa has just started the last lap. It's all about whether Hamilton wants it, whether he feels he can get back on the tail. The frustration must be colossal. He can see the back of that Toro Rosso, and that is the situation.
How does it make you feel, everybody? Oh, we're not praying to the racing gods here. This actress isn't praying to the racing gods. No, that was a new thing. We had to get intervention from the racing gods in 2021. Let's carry on.
Hamilton and Massa would be tied on points, but by virtue of the extra win for Massa, it would give the Brazilian driver the World Championship, and only one lap remains. Glock's sector times are perfectly healthy on the dry tyre. He's doing fine, and the championship is slipping away from Lewis Hamilton.
Right, Glock's done a 1:28, but he's 15 seconds clear of them. So Glock can tiptoe around the last lap and get the job done. Hamilton then has got to have a major...
He can tiptoe and get the job done. Fernando, when we get to 2001, was talking about getting the job done immediately after the crash. I mean, he passed Nicholas Latifi's car after it had crashed the first time, and then comes round again, the car's still there. This time he has to drive through a fucking plume of smoke because the fire extinguisher's gone off. So Alonso still knows the car's there, and he's like, gets on the radio and goes, we should unlap now before it's too late to get this job done. What job are we talking about, Fernando? Fernando doesn't know when the team's fixing it for him, but he knows about getting the job done, doesn't he? He also knows that you don't resume racing and you don't carry out the unlapping procedure when the car is still on track. You know, you would have witnessed the Jules Bianchi situation where they introduced safety protocols to try and protect drivers' lives. Funny that. Do you know about health and safety law, Nick? Is that what you're a legal expert of, yeah? Do you realise that a race director is really just a compliance officer, Nick? You know, he doesn't have the 15.3 is not the equivalent of the judge's overriding authority. You know, just like just like the CPR, Nick. You know, the civil procedures rules, where here is the 2 magnificent books of the CPR, and this is all the procedures that we must enact in the facade, the show, and this is what you must do. And you can start reading them, and you'll get to the one not too far. And I think there's definitely one in part 3 of the CPR, where here are the rules, but the judge can ignore the rules and do what they want. At which point you can just fuck them 2 books off, because you realise that if the judge can just do what the fuck they want, then them books don't mean a fucking thing. Oh, it's a tool of manipulation, isn't it, Nick? Some of us can see that, Nick. Some don't want to shatter the illusion because they're making a lot of money out of it, Nick. And, you know, we wouldn't want anybody to believe that there was no integrity to the facade that we enact. Would we, Nick? No, couldn't do that. Anyway, back to the Formula One.
Attack on Vettel. Has he got the pace to do that?
And of course Vettel is powered by the Ferrari engine, so he is highly motivated. And you can see that the back of Vettel's car swirling away.
Motivated, yeah, motivated. I must add to that, I mean, any judge that actually knows what they're doing, and it's a real judge, because there will be some there that do have integrity, many that don't. But the judge will realise that if they are going to deviate from the rules and procedures, they must have to have valid reasoning for do so. They need to assess the context of the situation they're being asked to evaluate and analyse the specific details, the specific set of circumstances that they are asked to be able to judge over. And if those specific set of circumstances require a different course of action to what the procedure dictates, then they have the discretion to do so. Okay, and that's the same with the 15.3. Okay, that's the race director's overriding authority, being that the race director has control of deployment of the safety car. He can oversee the event and deploy the safety car when he determines that there's a risk. So once he does that, he is bound by the safety car regulations. He has to ensure that those regulations are carried out prior to the resumption of racing. That's not a discretionary thing, okay? That is something that he must do. Can't freestyle that shit, okay? His discretion, though, to deviate from the notion of the track being declared safe by the clerk of the course and then switching back to race control and this procedure being carried out, is if the race director overseeing the event identifies something else that is a problem, okay, he can prolong that safety car period by deciding, no, I'm still going to keep that safety car out on track because I don't see this situation safe. I'm making that judgment because of that reason. I'm justifying that. There is no justification for withdrawing that safety car prior to carrying out that procedure. The reason there is no justification for that is because it harms sporting chances for all sporting competitors, therefore invalidating what takes place afterwards. Oh, do you see how that works? Or do we need a legal argument about that, cunt boy? Do we need a legal argument? Because there's going to be some judges that are going to be in a legal argument about how they fucking judge. Yes, that's to come. Different channel though. Anyway, don't you worry your little heads. Back to the excitement, kiddies.
Hamilton just doesn't seem to have the pace when it matters. He needs 5th or better to win the World Championship. He is currently 6th and he runs...
See, again, you know, ramming this home, should have only needed 7th or better. Was currently in 6th at that point. Currently on course for 3 points. More than enough. No drama. No drama. No drama. Until drama.
Late on the braking. He just needs now some luck to intervene. I said at the beginning it would come down to luck, and that's exactly what's happened. He had it all under control.
Needs a bit of luck. We asked for a bit of luck from the racing gods, and boy did we get it.
Control in the dry conditions, and in these conditions it's all about these last few corners now. We're expecting Massa any time now. He comes through to claim his 6th victory of the season. He has done everything he needed to do, and we wait now to find out who will be the world champion of 2008. Can Hamilton do anything? Can he run it up the inside of Vettel? Only a few corners to go now, and desperation starts to creep in for Lewis Hamilton.
Raikkonen's 3rd, and is that Glock? Is that Glock going slowly?
It is, it's Glock! Oh my goodness me! Hamilton's back in position again! 100,000 local hearts sink in the grandstands. It's handed the place back to Hamilton. He comes through, and if I'm absolutely right, I'm sure that he is going to claim 5th place, which is all he needs to do to become the 2008 Formula One World Champion, Lewis Hamilton, and you will... Well, the Ferrari boys are celebrating, but
they both think they've won it, but
Ferrari are wrong. They're absolutely wrong. Hamilton's finished.
That's how you impacted Felipe Massa's dad as well. And that's pretty fucked up, isn't it? A lad's family, right, that supported him and obviously want to see their son succeed in an event. And billionaire Bernie has covered it up because he's a fucking fraudster, right? this fucking deviant here, he's covered it up. Okay, because he's part of the governing body that's corrupt as fuck and has bowed to the will of the billionaire to protect the financial interests. And what they've done, they've misled people. They've given this guy false hope. They've then, and let's just go back here.
Lewis Hamilton, and you.
Ferrari celebrating.
Well, the Ferrari boys are celebrating.
The actress celebrating.
They both think they won, but Ferrari are wrong.
This is Felipe's dad and his brother, by the looks of things.
Ferrari are wrong. They're absolutely.
And now the realisation hits them. You see, that wouldn't have been like that, would it? That wouldn't have been like that because had the people involved in this acted with integrity, they'd have known the situation prior to the race, that not only does Felipe have to win, you've then got to wait to see that Lewis Hamilton only gets 1 point or less, and you can see that he's on course for more than that. You can see he's in sixth, so you're not going to get excited. He's in sixth. That's 3 points. Oh, on the last lap, he actually gains a place. He's come up to fifth. He's got 4 points. Fair enough. We've been squarely beaten here. It is what it is. But no, you put people through that. You put people through that. And you made money out of it, didn't you? So, Felipe, your case really is for that impact it's had on your family. The impact it's had on you, Massa, really, is probably the thing you lost out on that season. Was maybe at that event the Driver of the Day award. You probably should have got Driver of the Day at the 2008 Brazilian Grand Prix. Your family shouldn't have been put through that. Your family shouldn't have been put through that. And that is what this cunt did. But billionaire Bernie doesn't give a fuck. Doesn't give a fuck about people. Bernie gives a fuck about money. Right? And people bow down to those with money. Okay? Yeah, you're powerful because you've got money. As long as you give me some of your money, I'll do what you want me to do. And that's what the likes of Max Mosley did. Yeah, I'll act corruptly in my role in the interests of you because you've got money, and I'll get a little bit of it. Yeah. Can you see where the problems are, Nick? What's your expertise, Nick? You know, literally wrote the book on football law in these Trustpilot reviews. Full of bullshit. In one of these, I read that Nick here, leading sports barrister. No, wrong one. We'll come to it in another one, Nick. Tell us what your other areas of expertise are. Human rights laws was one of them, was it not, Nick? Is that what you list yourself as being an expert of in the legal field? You know, we can get on the court and play any kind of shot, can't we? In legal, man of many shots on the back and forth of the legal. Anyway, thank you for your time on this one. Somebody got death threats, Nick. I think you should be concerned about that. I think that's something that needs compensating for from fraudulent activity that resulted in harm being done. 2 drivers got a lower finishing position in that championship, Nick. That's financial loss. If their contract were dictated the amount of bonus that they might have received depending on that championship finishing position, and their future earnings depending on their previous performance in the show, and the perception of how good they were as a driver based on their finishing position in the championship. They suffered loss, Nick, as did perhaps 6,000 people from the 6 teams that were all impacted, Nick. These are the people that lost, Nick. Could you not identify that, Nick? Could you not? Maybe you need some legal advice, Nick, you know, because, you know, litigants in person, okay, they don't know the law. They don't understand the legal profession, so they're encouraged to go and spend their money on legal advice. If you can afford me, Nick, if you can afford me, because it's very expensive having such knowledge, Nick. Or you could just help people out and do the right thing. No, you're not interested in that, are you, Nick? Honey, what do you do for money? Anyway, thank you for your time.